See, now you see, I meant to do that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and today we're taking a look at Crossout, which is a rather bizarre name, but this is a game that I would best describe as a Mad Max simulator, and the reason why I would say that instead of the actual game Mad Max is because this literally is Mad Max the game. So I realize there is a Mad Max the game, but anyway, this is made by Gaijin Entertainment. Those are the same people that are behind games such as War Thunder, which should ring a bell because that was pretty much the first video I ever put out on the channel, and please do not go and watch it, it is absolutely awful. So anyway, we're looking at an empty space here, and that's because you can actually build your own vehicles. That is the heart of the game. But I do quickly just want to talk about what the actual game is going to be like. So right now it is in closed beta. It is $20 US at the minimum to get in with a Founders Pack, and it goes all the way up to $60, I believe. And those will give you some in-game currency, which you can see here. This is the premium currency that is paid for. There is no other in-game currency other than fuel, which is given to you for free. It's not something you buy. And it has a very interesting system. So if we go to the market here, we can actually see some parts that we can buy, and there are several pages of these, actually. And we can actually buy these. These are all this special currency, which is up here. And you can buy some of these straight off the bat. But where these actually come from is the interesting part, because all of these parts here are put up by actual players. So if I was to click on one of them to see this 88mm cannon here, this has a number of different prices, and they're all available at different quantities. So of course you can buy from the lowest price, and these are all put up by actual players. And of course the selling price is at the market rate, but you can in fact sell an item for any price you want, and it will show up here. So that's how that sort of thing works. But where the actual parts come from is they come from these factions. So I only have the engineers unlocked, which is the starting faction, and then there are the lunatics, nomads, and scavengers, and they all have unique parts that you can craft. So we have a look at the manufacturing here. You can actually see the engineers give you access to that 88mm cannon that we were looking at before. And this takes a certain amount of time to craft, and it requires a certain number of resources, and these resources come from playing the game. So scrap metal can come from various places, most notably PvP matches, and there is a PvE element which will also give you copper and other crafting materials. So all of these things require you to play the game in order to get them, but you can buy it straight from the market just to skip that. But you're probably going to have to wait for a good deal, and you're probably going to pay more than you would have if you crafted it on your own. So that's the interesting part about the game, is just how the parts actually come by. But of course, let's get on with building. So I don't have one selected here at the moment. It is empty. I have built one earlier, which we might take a look at later on. So let's jump into the build mode, and immediately the camera jumped down because I forgot that it's in first person. So yes, this is the building area that we have. This tiled surface right here is our building area, and we build in first person. So if I hit tab, we can have a look at the parts that are available. So how this actually works is we start off with a frame. So right now I think we could go with, a lightweight frame. Let's make something that's fairly light. So this frame is essentially the basic building block of your car, the chassis if you will, and this is where all the propulsion systems are added onto, and I can simply copy and paste these and attach them wherever there is a little diamond there. The X just shows that it's connecting to a frame part, which is important to note if you are trying to make a particular vehicle. So, right, so we have a bunch of different cabins. We can put a pickup cabin on here, which is a basic one, and it has a few different abilities. It actually has it doesn't actually state it here, but it has the ability to reduce cooldowns on rapid-fire weapons such as, I believe, autocannons and machine guns. And then we have the WWT-1 cabin, which basically looks like a big van, and we have a starter one over here. We also have a truck cabin, which I quite like. It's very durable, but it's very slow, so if you're trying to make a tanky sort of vehicle, that's the one to go for. I'm going to go with the pickup one, I think. That's just the basic vehicle that we can go with. Let's place it somewhere where it's got a little bit of protection, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Right there, and let's put some wheels on it. Right, so we got a bunch of different wheels. We have the medium wheels and the small wheels. The ST there just means that it has steering ability, so we can actually put that on there on the front. And we can copy that over to the other side, and of course we can rotate that. It automatically rotates to the side the frame's on, and it can only attach to the frame, so that's something you got to bear in mind when you're making these things. Is it can only attach to the frame, so got to be careful where you're putting things. Right, so let's see where we're gonna... what we're going to do with this. I don't really know what exactly I'm going to make. Which, normally I would have an idea, but I haven't really thought this through. So, that's a thing. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise this up. I'm going to raise up that ever so slightly by putting a... I don't know if I want to put that one there. Or I could put an aviation panel there. And then I can throw that pickup cabin on top of it. No, it has to be attached to the... yeah, it has to be attached to the frame there. So I could actually put a lightweight frame on top of that. No, I can't. So can't actually raise it up in any way, which is a bit of a shame. I really wanted to do that. Right, so of course we need an engine. So let's put that engine there. We can actually rotate that. Try and keep it as compact as possible. There's a lot of different parts to choose from, honestly. Could go with a van side there. That could work. Yeah, looking a bit like a pickup truck now, I think. Or we could even put fenders on the side of that. I do have fenders available. I do have an armoured track, which, to be honest, we could actually do that. We could make a half track if we made this long enough. Could actually do that. Could be interesting. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is going to add the fenders onto the side of it. Where the hell are they? We can actually sort these by rarity. There are rarer parts. Of course, you can see some of them, the blue ones here. I'm just going to have a look. Structure, I think it is. Yep, there we go. There's the fenders. So we can stick those on there and just make it look like a pickup truck if we want to. I believe we can do that. That's not a bad idea, actually, considering if we're going to make this a very compact vehicle. Right, so back to movement again. We're going to put the medium wheels onto the back there. Just make a very standard sort of truck, I think. That's looking pretty good. Honestly, that was looking pretty good, but it's not really outfitted for combat. That's something that we have to bear in mind, so... let's throw a van roof on top there. Yeah, that looks good. In fact, I could even raise this up a little bit more. Just to kind of cover the sides a little bit. And put the van ramp on the back there. Oh, actually... I think, yeah... we could do that. Just give it a slight little bit of cover there. And let's just cover the back up with a van side, I think. Unless there's a place we can put that. I think that probably goes pretty well. So we made ourselves a little bit of a car. Then we can, of course, just go and test drive this. There's no loading time whatsoever. And you can see that's actually pretty good. Seems to handle pretty well. Slides around very nicely. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. In fact, the driving in this game is it's all done by the W, A, S, and D keys, and it's really, really easy to do, actually. There has been a slight update since I first started playing this, which has improved the driving handling quite significantly, actually, I will say. So this is definitely not what I started out with, and I'm definitely happy for the change there. Whee! Right, so let's get back into build mode. And let's start making this something that would be suitable on the combat zone, I think. Because right now, this isn't going to let us survive all that long. So let's start putting some more parts on it. I think what I'm building here is actually, I don't know, a roadblock? I can't tell anymore. Alrighty, so we are actually in a PvP battle now. And, That's an interesting face over there on the right, I gotta be honest. Alrighty then, it's time to begin. And, so it looks like we've got 2v2 in terms of actual players, and the rest are actually bots. For now, that seems to be the norm. Once more people start getting into the game, there will probably be a lot less bot-only matches. Hopefully, we'll see. Alright, so I've never actually driven a wheeled vehicle in a PvP match. Genuinely, I have actually only been using armored tracks, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, don't roll, don't roll, don't roll, don't roll. Oh, well. You see, what's actually happened there is I've lost all 4 wheels, and I'm facing the wrong way, so I can't actually do anything. Also, my cannon has come off. Well, shit. Okay, so that didn't really go so well. And, yeah, this design has some issues. Let's be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a vehicle that I made earlier to kind of give you an idea of how things can be when you actually take the time to make them properly. Welcome everybody to the MLCS, which I've actually modeled on the M270 multi-launch rocket system, which used to be the main artillery system for the US Army, and this is a tracked vehicle, so it can pivot. In fact, it actually pivots very quickly since the update, and it handles quite realistically. In fact, it handles a lot like the tanks in War Thunder ground forces, so there's that. Tanks can actually power slide in this if you manage to go fast enough, but they have reduced the speed a little bit, so downhill is probably going to be our best friend here. Now, this vehicle is equipped with a lot of armor. We did a stoppie there. It's equipped with a lot of armor. You can see there on the sides covering the tracks, and the tracks themselves are armored, so they're actually very durable. And our only real weak spot is the one there at the back where there is a fuel tank, and I've quite cleverly placed it there because when that fuel tank gets hit, it will explode, and thankfully in this way it won't actually damage the rest of the vehicle. So this is equipped with 2 machine guns. You can see there, forward-firing machine guns there. It does have a limited firing arc. As you can see there, the right side does tend to actually be able to fire more than the left, depending on which way you're looking. So they do have a limited firing arc. So really, this is most dangerous from the front. But its most powerful weapon is this 76mm cannon, which is very effective at shredding small parts off of vehicles. In fact, I think we can just snipe the cannon off the top of it. Yep, we can do that. So, of course, getting hit from the rear is a very big concern. But we can also use the machine guns here for close defense. They do actually do a fair amount of damage to some of these smaller parts there. And the front is only protected by the bumper catch and that double slope there. So that is a bit of an issue as well. So we really do want to avoid getting hit in the back, in the front, in the side, or just getting hit at all, really. You can actually immobilize the vehicle by taking out its engine. That is the thing you can do. That vehicle is still active, by the way, and still has a machine gun, but it's not actually able to move anymore. So that's something to bear in mind there. So let's take this into a PvP match and see how we do. Alright, enter the MLCS. And already I'm actually having steering problems. Hang on a sec. Okay, steering problems resolved, I think. Let's see how well we actually do. So, this game mode actually is kind of like World of Tanks' game mode, where you have to attack the enemy base. However, the points don't actually restore. It's not a capture, so when you sit in the capture circle, the points actually tick down, and they sort of stay that way as far as I know. Unless, of course, that's a bug, in which case beta is beta. The game does run fairly well, but at the moment it is actually running at 45 frames a second. Beta is beta after all, and that's a bit of an issue. But most of the time it runs pretty well, actually. I'm just trying to get a shot off on this guy here. Go away. I'm just trying to shoot his wheels off. Is that mean? I don't know. Maybe that's mean. Oh, crap. He's going for my fuel tank. And I've missed. I have missed. I'm going to take out his wheels. There we go. And that's a good hit from the cannon there. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm really in trouble right now. I keep missing with the cannon. I really don't intend to, but... Oh, shoot. Well, I've lost the track. And I've exploded. Alright, new map. Not so new opponents. But new game mode, so maybe we can do better this time. So the new handling physics have actually reduced the speed of the tracks and, in fact, the speed of the truck cabin as well. So, well, I'm not gonna lie, speed was an issue before. There goes your wheel. Normally the bots aren't really a problem, but in this case I will make an exception and go after them first, as I'm being surrounded by them. And that is a problem. Oh, that's a player. See, I believe they're targeting my tracks first, and I think that's a problem. Alrighty then, so PvP is a little bit difficult for me at the moment, so let's do some PvE. And this gives you a chance to look at what the differences really are. So, I've already talked about the resources you can get for each of them, but the PvE actually costs fuel, so you have a limited number of them that you can actually do unless you play PvP, which I guess kind of encourages people to play both game modes as well. So, I think the pump jack is over there, so we got to get around there somewhere. This is a defense mission. Oh, crap. I think we're okay. We're okay. We'll be fine. There is collision damage in this, and I don't know how much I've actually just taken from doing that, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, so there are a bunch of enemies attacking this pump jack, as you can see. Now, I'm totally not trying to shoot his wheels off at the moment. You gotta watch out, some of these enemies do actually have cannons on them, which is a little bit worrying. And, kinda happy I have one. Kind of wishing I had a more powerful engine at this stage, because this is woefully slow. And I believe enemies have just spawned directly behind me, which is always fun. It's always good when they do that. I do greatly appreciate that. Whoa, doing a stoppie there. And yeah, they're ripping my armor to shreds, so that's great. One useful feature of this is that the machine guns can turn backwards, so I can actually fire at something behind me if I really need to. Of course, that's usually something that I need to do when I'm completely screwed, so that's always handy, I guess. Oh, I think I just one-shotted him. Ow! Okay, that took off like half of my armor. And I missed. I was going to say payback, but I completely missed, so... Payback! There we go. I believe this guy is completely dead in the water. So, sucks to be you! Actually, it sucks to be us, because that means we're one vehicle down. Sucks to be us, then! Now, I only have 4 rounds for the cannon left, so gotta be very careful about it. One interesting thing about the cannon is that it does allow lighter vehicles to completely be flipped over. which I guess is a useful thing if you like to just dick them over completely, because that guy is completely stuck now. But, oh god, I've actually just had my entire back end blown apart. Run. Run away. That is the solution now. We are running away. And I'm about to die. There we go. So yes, you do get a respawn. That's the reason I wanted to yeah, that's the reason that happened. I was trying to show you guys that that's what happens. It was completely intentional. So I think we can actually just fire at them from up here, but it is pretty high up. And shoot. See, now you see, I meant to do that. Completely meant to do that. Yep. Oh, look. Somebody's come to help. Well, he didn't manage to flip us over, but we got a victory. So yeah, that's just a very quick look at Crossout. This is a game that's available through their website, I believe, for $19.99. There are 3 different tiered packages of Founders Packs. Of course, you can just sign up for the beta and hope that you get into it. There's a pretty good chance that you will get into it anyway. I just bought a Founders Pack so that I could get access to it immediately because I really wanted to play this. But of course, you can do that if you so choose. Well, thank you very much for watching. My name is Panzer. If you liked the video, leave a like, I guess, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if there's a particular type of vehicle you'd like me to make. And, yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.